Adrian Toomes from the MCU is magically, because of Doctor Strange's spell, kind of teleported.
No, I think it has to do with Spider-Man.
You think so? He's not sure. He's figuring this place out. He teleports to Morbius's universe in full jail clothes.
Into another jail cell.
Yep, that's like presumably the same cell.
Just in another universe.
Right. And he looks around like unfazed, basically, and says to nobody,
Hope the food's better in this joint.
So he already knows he's still in a jail.
Yep.
He's completely comfortable with the fact that he's just switched universi.
And he felt the need to tell the wall
And
that...
it could be the air.
Could be
like
the
you
air.
said, the bars.
Yep, the
maybe
bars
a
in front of
passing
him.
guard.
6 hours later, when it's dawn, the guard comes in. He does his tally. He tallies all the guards, or the inhabitants.
Prisoners. Yep,
right?
yep.
And
Prisoners.
he's like, oh, wow, this cell was empty. There's a person in here.
A man identifying himself as Adrian Toomes simply appeared in an otherwise empty cell.
Adrian Toomes, as we learned from the news report, said, oh, it's okay, I'm from another universe.
Right.
Even though I'm in jail clothes.
Right. It's presumed that he is from another universe and that he is getting a hearing for immediate release.
A hearing has been set that could likely lead to his immediate release.
Even though he is in another universe, in another jail, still in jail clothes, as you said.
And the only evidence they have that he's from another universe is his word.
And that he thinks it has something to do with Spider-Man.
Now, he's still trying to figure this place out.
Right.
He's not sure.
But he hopes the food's better.
Yeah. He really thinks that guys like him can do some good.
And team up.
Yeah, and team up. So
that being said,
the news reports come out.
Okay.
So he's out of jail, what? Let's say like 8 a.m.
Right. Hold on. When does he get transported? Okay, let's say midnight, like we were saying, right?
Okay.
So midnight, he gets transported to this jail cell, like
Sure.
we said. And then by dawn, so like 6 a.m., 7 a.m., they're doing their first rounds. They find him in the thing. He gets immediately released. Okay, now let's say again, let's say it's noontime.
Okay.
He's reading up on Dr. Michael Morbius.
Okay. so hold on.
So like he gets out of jail and immediately is like, I got to figure out who this guy is.
Because a news report comes, he goes up to the newsstand, right? And he's like, hey, news guy, what's the word on the news of the latest?
Right.
And the news guy's like, well, boy, do I have the latest for you. There's a vampire murder going on.
Right.
And Mr. Adrian Toomes,
Right.
he's like, really? I would love to hear more about just that guy.
Right. And nothing else. I mean, and what else do you need to know? I mean, as soon as you hear the words Michael Morbius, you already know.
You know it's going to be a good vampire murder story. So
Absolutely.
So Adrian Toomes starts to read all of the vampire
Lore.
all of the Dr. Michael Morbius lore, which is just like the papers he's maybe written.
And that he sucked 9 people dry on a boat. So we know that.
But also, more importantly, or rather less importantly than that, would be the fact that Michael Morbius has probably written papers about artificial blood.
He did not accept the Nobel Prize.
Right. So the prize for being so noble.
Right. Exactly. The prize of nobility.
Yeah, nobility. So Adrian Toomes, who does not give a fuck about artificial blood, is like, I am so interested
in this Michael Morbius
in
character.
Dr. Michael Morbius character.
Yeah.
So I now need to study all of his stuff. And now it's like 1 p.m., 2 p.m.
So it's been a couple hours.
He's crunching. At this same point, remember,
he's tried the food. It is better.
It is better in this joint, but he's out of that joint, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
But more importantly, he has already started construction of a new Vulture suit, which, mind you...
So that was my whole thing that when we were talking about this before, was like, he never built that suit.
He never did.
Ever. It was his other guys, his guys in the chair, who took all, like his company would get the leftover alien tech, and then his guys would build it into technology that they could resell on the black market. Now, while doing so, made their boss a Vulture suit.
Sure.
And
why wouldn't you?
Right, of course.
I would.
I mean, or maybe he was the first one to build it, but it was so unclear they never established that. So basically what you have is this guy who, to our knowledge, has never built a Vulture suit.
Okay.
And he builds, in these 12 hours, mind you,
out of parts that are not from alien invasions.
Right, because there wasn't one in this universe.
That we know of.
Because it was never
like
touched
a hunk
on.
Of shit, so...
Right.
Clearly.
Right, and it was kind of like clanky and whatever. I mean, it was kind of cool, but it was whatever. But anyway, so he has never been shown even working on this suit. He didn't want to use the high altitude suit.
Nope.
He didn't like any of that.
So in one hand, he's got like Dr. Michael Morbius's book that he's reading,
Right.
right? In the
Religiously.
left hand, there's like a screwdriver next to the vulture suit. This is like 3 p.m.
While he's watching the news.
And
on
all
everything
around
that
him
he
are
can get.
monitors. He's got like his feet are changing the channels to Dr. Michael Morbius news reports.
Yes.
And he's a very ambidextrous guy.
Right.
And he's doing this all now. Daylight's running out. He's got to work pretty quick.
Multitasking is an understatement.
Multitasking, yeah. This man could build like such an amazing car in like a day.
An hour.
An hour with the speed
I
that
mean,
he's building the vulture suit.
Something that people can't do, build a vulture suit, he built in 12 hours.
Yeah,
So he
less.
could definitely build a car in
Easily
like a
less
couple hours.
because now here's the kicker. While this is happening, while he's reading all of Dr. Michael Morbius's reports, building
Working on
an
the
entire vulture suit alone
Right.
out of nothing,
Right.
and also doing his due diligence, trying the food, making sure it's better in this joint. He's still
And
trying to figure
having
this place
only
out.
been released 12 hours ago by this point.
While all of this is happening, he got Dr. Michael Morbius's personal phone number.
Right.
Which I assume is just like when they put a news report that there's a vampire murder, they immediately dox the vampire murderer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They
Right?
have to, yeah.
They have to immediately be like, Dr. Michael Morbius is a vampire. Here's his personal cell phone number.
Yeah, I'm sure.
If
I'm
you
su-
ever need it to contact him to team up and do some good by any chance.
Oh, mailing address.
Yup.
Everything.
Yeah, here's his social security.
Yeah.
banking
You could
information.
be him if you wanted.
Yeah. If you want to straight up, if you want to go ahead, maybe it's because of Spider-Man. We're trying to figure this place out. But if you want to team up and do some good,
And find out if the food is better.
if the food is better, you can go ahead and get this phone number. And Dr. Adrian Toombs is like, bro. Sorry, Mr. Adrian Toombs is like, bro.
Dr. Adrian Toombs.
Mr. Adrian Toombs is like, wow, what a great opportunity for me to go ahead and contact my good, unknown, not even a friend, person I've literally never met.
Acquaintance. Barely acquaintance.
Person I'm fascinated with because I don't care about artificial blood at all.
That I just heard of.
That I just heard of in this moment. Dr. Michael Morbius, who I'm also studying all the papers of while building my vulture suit by myself.
I am shocked that during that scene of him driving, we didn't see him down a pouch of blood.
So here we go. This is the best part. So Dr. Michael Morbius, after he killed Milo, I guess is just fine now.
Yeah.
All the problems with the artificial blood, that's whatever. It's out the window.
No, he doesn't need it anymore.
Doesn't
It's
need it.
fine.
So if he's a vampire, that means he's probably going to bed in the day and sleep, being awake at night, right? So let's say 7 p.m. cold rolls around, it gets dark wherever in Manhattan, right? So okay, 7 or 8 p.m. it's dark. Mr. Adrian Toombs is working on his gigantic vulture suit. It's almost done, as it would be.
Falafel.
So like his vulture suit is almost completed. Why wouldn't it be? Have sex.
Have sex.
And
Poop
also,
my pen, poop my pen,
he's pooping his pants, and he's also almost done researching all of Dr. Michael Morbius's papers.
And his vulture suit's almost done at this point.
And don't forget, with his like 7th arm at the same time, he's written down Dr. Michael Morbius's phone number,
So that you can call it.
so he can
or
call
text it.
Text it, and he sends a text now
To meet him in a cornfield.
So Dr. Michael Morbius at like 8 p.m. when he wakes up gets a text that says, "Hello, Dr. Michael Morbius.
It is I, Adriana Toomingson Doomington.
Toombs, Mr. Toombs from." Now you might not have heard of me. That's because I'm from another universe. But I also want you to know that I am
has something to do with Spider-Man.
I am fascinated by your work in blood that I don't need or care about.
And also, I was wondering if you could put a couple people into a coma and then never check on them again.
Yeah, that'd be great if you could just never follow up on that.
Never.
But then, yeah, I'm really interested in your work, and I'd really appreciate if we could, team up and do some good. By the way, just so you know, I think this is because of Spider-Man. I'm not sure. And then Morbius responds, "Who's Spider-Man?" Scene, red, on your left on red, and we get a response on that. So Dr. Michael Morbius is like, okay, well, I have to meet this guy at the time that he said at 2:30 a.m. No,
he's almost there at like 2:22 a.m.,
2:21 a.m.,
whatever.
Yep.
And then he waits for Adrian Toombs for like a half an hour.
Now remember, it was dark at the start of the scene, then it cut to it being like dusk, so it went back to 7 p.m., let's say, and then it was 2:21 a.m. And then he gets there, and it's almost 3. So he was driving for like 4 or 5 hours easily.
Yeah. And then
So-
Adrian Toombs shows up.
Where the hell did Adrian Toombs say to meet?
I know.
Like, several states over? So, okay. So, Adrian Toombs is like building all this stuff in Manhattan, right? And like researching him in Manhattan and getting his personal phone number in Manhattan. And then goes to like Kentucky and is like, bro, let's meet here.
in
for
Kentucky.
no reason. In Kentucky.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Michael Morbius is like, wow, I just got this text from a person who says he's from another universe. I better go to Kentucky tonight.
I know.
in
And-
my sports car.
Yeah, in my fucking sports car. And then he shows up though, and they have this wonderful conversation.
Bro.
And
it's so great.
The thing is though, is like Adrian Toombs says it has something to do with Spider-Man. I think.
I've been reading about you.
I'm listening.
I'm not sure how I got here. Has to do with Spider-Man, I think.
Spider-Man has never been touched on in this universe, in this movie, in anything at all.
Yep.
And Dr. Michael
Thank you
Morbius.
very much.
He immediately is just like, has no reaction to it at all.
None.
Like as if he's heard the word Spider-Man or heard the name Spider-Man like millions of times.
None.
Now, when we first saw trailers for this movie, there was one poster of Spider-Man on it, and that was like 4 years ago, before this movie got like pushed back and pushed back and pushed back.
Yep.
So, but now there was no mention of Spider-Man ever.
None. They cut every reference out possible.
Except for the Adrian Toomes one. There was no version of him
And
walking
the
by.
Adrian Toomes reference are just
poster.
2 post-credit scenes, and he shows up and he's like, Dr. Michael Morbius, I'm so happy that we could meet. And I'm very happy that you followed me to Kentucky, where I messaged you like 5 hours ago at this point, and you drove here, and I flew here on my suit, and I ran out of gas like in this moment, basically. It peters out when we meet. So I flew for 5 hours in the suit flawlessly, and it ran out now.
And now I'm not going to have to get back. You know, how is he going to get back into how is he going to drive back if his suit fucking runs out of
Yeah, his suit
fuel?
ran out of gas.
But it didn't run out of gas. He just landed.
Yeah, the suit pooped his pants.
Have sex.
So his suit's out, right? And now at this point, because there's a lot of points that you gotta clarify, Adrian Toomes says, gotta do a Spider-Man, I think. Morbius, again, stone face, like, that's chill.
Right.
I'm cool with that. I think
He's
a bunch
probably
of
thinking the
guys
same thing.
like you and me should team up and do some good. Now,
He's a villain.
what good could Toomes be referring to here? Is it building more Vulture suits
I
in a
was
day?
going to say, I think it was to recirculate more alien tech on the black market.
Of which there's none.
Well, maybe now they could use blood.
Oh, they can
And
sell blood on the black market.
Oh, no. What if they could sell vampire doses on the black market?
Doses of
Like becoming a vampire.
So he killed Milo in the name of not getting out,
Right.
and then he's like 10 minutes later, like, you know what?
Well,
Fuck that.
Well, he was convinced by Adrian Toomes.
Yeah, he had such a convincing argument of, I think it's got to do with Spider-Man, I think.
I'm still trying to figure this place out.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure this place out.
Hopefully,
but
it has better food.
you and I could do some good, and then Dr. Michael Morbius, line of the movie,
Intriguing.
because that would certainly be intriguing to anybody.
And then it just cuts.
It
to
just cuts to black,
There's
and there's
nothing.
no more film. You got to wait 4 more years for the next one.
Yeah, because it's going to be delayed by fucking COVID-20.
It probably won't even fucking be made because it bombed really, really hard twice. I think we summed up all the major points
Of the post-credit scene.
of just the post-credit
and
scenes
how
alone.
it makes so much sense.
You
so
know,
much sense.
Makes sense. It makes sense.
Poop my pants.